Welcome to Smack Talk. As always, there's a link down below in the description box to credit WWE for piecing this together for me. Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly, the three pretty boys, take on the three brawling brutes. And to me, it had the E in WWE. It was entertaining. I'm not sold on Pretty Deadly. They remind me, even though they're unique in their own way, I still keep going on about this every week, and I probably will until I drive you nuts. Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. God damn, I love those guys, and I did from the first moment I ever saw either of them, either in singles competition or as a tag team. Whereas these guys, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, I'm not saying they don't have the tools, and I'm not saying they don't belong in the ring, because they did well. From a technical standpoint, they did well. They did good. They did. There's just something about it. I'm just, I'm waiting for a little extra zhuzh or something, whatever you want to call it, for me to be like, oh yeah, I really like these guys. I'm just happy that we're getting more tag teams, because like I said, the tag team division... Speaking of which, the OC. God damn, I love me some OC. Big time. And speaking of tag teams and how I wasn't pretty sold on Pretty Deadly, if it makes you feel better, I like them pretty noticeably. See what I did there? Over Hit Row. To me, they're dead row. See what I did there? I really shouldn't give up my day job as being a comedian. This was a good match. I liked it. I just don't like Hit Row. Like, I don't like them. It's nothing against them personally, again. It's when I see your ass on the screen and I hear it, do I like that ass? And I don't. Whereas Pretty Deadly, they don't bother me at all. There's a difference. Okay? But I'm still glad they're around because we need more tag teams. Zelina Vega defeated Lacey Evans for a Money in the Bank qualifying match. This wasn't too bad. Lacey Evans doing the Miss Sergeant Slaughter-like thing. I do believe she was in the Marines before. I'm not too sure. But I do know that she trains a lot. And then in her personal life, she's a little strange. But I think we all are. Where she said that anxiety and ADHD and all that shit and autism doesn't exist, and it didn't exist before, processed foods came along. We'll just leave it at that. But, I mean, that aside, I still enjoy talking to people like that have some unique takes on stuff in life outside of the wrestling world. But as a competitor, she's incredibly dominant. And, yeah, and it's cool that, Zelina won. Not sure, in my opinion, if she's ready for the big one to be like a Rhea Ripley champion. But whatever, that can change over time. Whereas Lacey Evans, if she was regularly booked all the time and didn't disappear, and I get it, she had a second daughter and all that, totally understandable. To me, she's a bit more believable. I'm not saying Zelina isn't. I'm just saying maybe I need to see a little bit more. She could be like Rey Mysterio in the beginning. No offense, I didn't think he could be champion. Not that I didn't think he deserved it. There's a difference. It was just, Batista at the time, Rey Mysterio. But he's so talented that now I look at Rey Mysterio and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy could be world champion. And he has been. It's probably going to be the same thing with Zelina Vega. Jeepers. LA Knight defeats Montez Ford. I mean, to me, this is the default blueprint of what every superstar should strive to be before making it up to the main roster on Raw or SmackDown. Words don't describe in the dictionary properly what these guys do in the ring. It's magic. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's just really good. And LA Knight defeated him, which I'm happy about that because, well, Montez still in a tag team thing. But again, either or, I could totally see as a champion someday. I really, really could. And it just It just ended like that? I mean, no, it didn't just end like that. We got some other shit to talk about that's not shown here. Stuff that's shown on the side. Let's go in order. Oh, yeah. You know, the whole Uso thing, and it's kind of weird. Like I said, it seems like Jimmy has taken Jay's place in being on the mic and, you know, calling the shots, and this is how it's going to be. Then he tried to patch things up, and it didn't work, as you obviously probably saw, and then Solo didn't know which way he was going to go, but he kind of gave it away halfway through when he stood side by side with his brothers, the Uso. Solo had his thumb out, and it kind of gave it away that he's thinking of jabbing him in the neck there. Didn't look like he was going to do that to Roman, so that didn't really surprise me. And then, of course, the new belt. I like the new belt. I like it. It's essentially the same belt, but I find it contrasts a little bit nicer. It's got that gold background with the symbol. I don't know. It's a subtle change, but a nice one. Just quickly, in my opinion. I don't know what they're going to do with the other belt, because Paul Heyman's like, ooh, look at me. You know, I got 2 belts now. I don't know if they're just going to toss it aside. Oh, you can see it right here. I just can't click on it, because then sound will play, and I'll get a fucking strike from WWE. But yeah. And then the Grayson Waller effect. He kind of reminds me of someone, and I don't know who it is. And I'm not saying I could do any better here. I find like there's something missing. You know, I used to love, well, not used to, I still would love the Chris Jericho, you know, Talk is Jericho, the KO show. You know, there's been a lot of people over the years that have had their own, you know, little skit thing, Piper's Pit and all that. And just to be blunt, and again, I'm not saying I could do better. I'm just, you know, not a fan of the Grayson Waller effect. Like, let's talk. What the fuck can you do in the ring? I'm just saying. Okay? Whereas again, Cameron Grimes, new to me because I don't watch NXT. And I like him. Okay? And then Adam Pearce saying, yeah, I'll cover, you know, the Usos from coming in, but clearly that didn't work out. And, yeah. Roman Reigns, technically 1,006 days of his yesterday, 1,007 days as of today. But really, it's easy to be champion for that long when you're a no-show most of the time. And you're part-timing it. It's very easy to be champion that long. I'm telling you, in recent history, a person who had a really long title reign in WWE, who actually defended the shit, didn't try, and this is not a knock at Roman Reigns as an actual person outside of the wrestling world, like as a family man and all that, as a father for Roman Reigns. It's not a knock at him. I'm just saying. CM Punk defended that shit probably 4 times more than Roman Reigns did, even though he held on to the belt like a fraction as long. That's my point. And when you've got the family like he does, like I said, Roman Reigns being a father, a husband, and all that, and he was able to negotiate for real, part-timing it, I don't blame him. And I'm not saying he can't be a guy, a big guy. The guy? I'm not saying he can't be that either. But to hog both belts for as long as you've been doing, I've said this a million times before, that's where my problem lies with the WWE as a company. It makes no sense to me. He shouldn't have 2 belts. Fine, keep the 1 belt, but you know what? That other one that's floating around, that should have been defended. But there's a problem now. Now we got a world heavyweight champion in Seth fucking Rollins. You get where I'm going with this? We have a heavyweight champion on Raw, and we got one on SmackDown. When are we getting rid of that black belt that Roman Reigns has? I just wish it was a bit clearer where that's going. But yeah, that's been my main problem with Roman Reigns. It's not that he's part-time. It's not that he's been champion for a long time. It's that he held 2 titles for quite a while. And more than anything. And as a company, get it, like I said, got family and all that. I probably wouldn't pick them if they want to be part-time to be the main front-running guy, necessarily. I'd give them a big push. I don't know if I'd have them 1,000+ days holding the belt. That's all I'm saying. So there you have it. I could keep repeating and running in circles, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave it here. All in all, I enjoyed myself watching the show, as always. So, like I said, I could be a lot more critical, and I try not to do that. I try not to do the Vince Russo thing. I get along with Vince Russo. We follow each other on Twitter. We've had some nice back and forth conversations about all things wrestling, and sometimes baseball a little bit. And there's a lot of times that some people think, oof, did he just say that? And I agree with Vince, but you don't always have to agree with everything Russo says. He's far more critical than I am about the product, and I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it. But it's like I said before, the video game, I'll trash it where it needs to be trashed. But when it comes to the show, I just try to be a little bit more positive and talk about the things I like quickly. Maybe say I didn't like a certain match. I'm not really sold on a certain superstar. And then just kind of try and move on and not just, dwell on it too much. So there you have it. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel. If you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. And as always, I'll bend it in half, twist it, and give you a triple white noise from the fridge, Ridge Holland, because it's his new nickname. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. Let me know down below what you think about anything, the game, anything, all things wrestling. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.